kids who like write really hard with their pencils and like break the lead over and over. A lot of times that's due to like poor proprioception.
Welcome to the Helping Kids Be Kids podcast with Little Lighthouse. My name is Ian Chinworth, and I'm the outreach manager here. And this is Hannah Jimenez, our director of education. And we're doing a series right now on our senses. And this episode is about a sense that you might not have heard of before. I never heard of it before I worked here at Little Lighthouse. And it is called proprioception. So, Hannah, can you go ahead and explain a little bit about what the proprioception sense is?
Yeah, so proprioception is the sense that allows us to feel where our bodies are in space. So, to help you understand that,
what does that mean?
So, close your eyes.
Okay.
And now reach and touch your nose. Did you find it?
Yes.
Okay, so if you had poor proprioception, you would have not touched your nose.
Okay.
So because your eyes are closed, you can't see where your finger's going. You maybe would have touched here or here or here, but you got right on the tip of your nose because you have good proprioception.
Oh, interesting.
So you understand where your body is related to the things around you.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Test out your nose skills. So what everyone, processes senses and maybe, processes senses in a different way. So how do people process proprioception in different ways?
Yeah. So like you said, we all process in a different way, and we all have a different threshold for each of our senses. So your threshold is just the point at which you experience a sensation. So people who have that like lower proprioceptive threshold, they kind of like feel where their bodies are in space a lot easier. Okay. Whereas if you have that high threshold, you need a lot of input in your body to help you know where your body is. And so behaviors that kind of tell us that a child has or that high proprioceptive threshold are going to be things like they're the kids who are going to be like slumped or leaning on things or leaning on people. They probably want like really tight hugs. They usually will enjoy being like wrapped up in a blanket really tight because it's giving them that input that their body needs to feel where it is in relation to everything around them. A lot of times these are the kids who also will like run into things. They'll maybe like squeeze things too hard because their bodies are just not understanding kind of like where things are in relation to them. So like kids who like write really hard with their pencils and like break the lead over and over, a lot of times that's due to like poor proprioception. That threshold is just too high and they need more input so that they can not destroy their pencils or break all their crayons while they're coloring. Like they color really, really hard. Okay,
that makes sense. I never knew that that had to do with proprioception. So what are some ways that like people can either help those who have like a low threshold, or for those who are seeking extra input, like what are some ways we can help them either in your classroom or in your home, like parents and caretakers?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different strategies you can use to provide proprioceptive input, and many professionals will argue that you can't get too much proprioceptive input. Okay. That you like can't be overloaded on it. So with a lot of our other senses, we talk about like kids who avoid like loud sounds, or they avoid like things visually, or they avoid tactile stimulation. With proprioception, like there are some kids who are not going to enjoy, like they won't like rough and tumble play. They're not going to enjoy being like squeezed tight. But like I said, there's a lot of experts that will argue that you can't really have too much of that input. So like you're not going to have the same amount of like avoidance like you're going to have with the other senses. But for those kids who like really need that input to feel where their bodies are, so they're not like slumping all the time and leaning on things and like needing that like deep pressure all the time, there's quite a few different things we do here. One of them is we'll put these little compression vests on them.
Cute.
And so these just like Velcro, and you can do it pretty tight around their body, and it just provides like a tight like squeeze.
It's like a constant hug.
Yes, like a constant hug. And they just feel really like secure because it helps them feel like where their body is in space. And it's kind of the same thing you can do like the like compression clothing like you wear for sports.
Oh yeah.
That can be really helpful too. Like I've had kids in the past who their parents just put them in compression clothes every day because it just helps them feel more regulated. So another tool you can use for providing proprioceptive input is these lap weights. Ooh. So this is, somebody made this and it's full of, this one feels like maybe rice. I'll let you hold that and feel it.
Oh yeah, it does feel like rice.
But yeah, it just has like little pockets sewn into it, and they put rice in it, and we'll put them on the kids' laps just like that. And it just provides some like deep pressure that's going to help them feel where their bodies are in space. And then another thing we can do, do you like that?
Yeah.
Do you like proprioceptive input? Another thing we can do is called heavy work. And so it's where we'll have kids like pick up heavy things or push heavy things. So sometimes that can look like giving them a fun job. Like, I need you to pick up and carry your chair over to this place in the room, or I need you to take these books and put them on the bookshelf over here. And it's giving them more input, or even like pushing a cart. Yeah. So sometimes we have kids who need just a lot of proprioceptive input, and we'll put like reams of paper or heavy books or just anything like kind of heavy on a cart, and it'll be their job to push that cart somewhere. Cute. And so they'll go out in the hall and they'll push that cart, and it just gives them the input their bodies need so they can stay regulated. Sometimes you'll see them pushing a cart and wearing a vest and just getting all that. And then we have some fun stuff in our gym too that helps with that. One of my favorites is the crash pad.
Yes.
So it's like the giant like beanbag on the floor basically. Amazing. And the kids will climb up on like a bench or step stool and jump into it and just throw their bodies into it, and that crashing into it gives their bodies the proprioception that they need to feel where their body is and to feel regulated. And it's so fun. Some of them will just do it over and over, and it's just their very favorite thing. Cute. And then we also have, it's called like a sensory steam roller.
Oh,
and it's these foam rollers, and the kids actually go between them, and it rolls and squeezes their body between the foam rollers.
Cute.
Yeah, but it just helps their bodies regulate, and then they're ready to learn and participate and do great at school.
That sounds awesome.
It's so fun.
I'm like, did they make all these for adults?
Probably.
And is the trampoline one too? Or
so jumping on a trampoline provides a lot of different sensory input, a lot of different areas, but proprioception is one. Just that like as you hit the trampoline, it's providing that like strong input that your body needs to help you feel where you are.
Great. Yeah. I'm like, I love a rough and tumble play. I'm always wrestling my dog. I don't know if she likes it, but that's awesome. Well, and like who are like the experts, the professionals on proprioception, and who we can ask our questions to? Yeah,
so occupational therapists are going to be your like go-to for any kind of sensory need, but especially proprioception. Great. I feel like you kind of mentioned you hadn't really heard of it before working here. I feel like it's not very common to know about proprioception or what it is. And it's one of those things that as a teacher, when I learned about it, I was like, oh, this is life-changing. And so I like followed a bunch of different like OTs on Instagram and was like learning about like techniques I could use in my classroom, because I was like, that's so cool. And it was really helpful for a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's great. Aw, I love that. We love our OTs. I'll just be here with my lap blanket. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add about proprioception?
That was all.
All right, great. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I hope that you learned some new stuff. Maybe go enjoy some rough and tumble play, or if you don't enjoy that, then don't do that. But I hope you guys tune in for our other episodes and learn more about the senses. Thanks for being here.